What's up, BB gang? Welcome back to my channel. I am the best of Grace, and if you're new, welcome. So today we're going to talk about overcoming being under the influence. Today's video is going to be emotional. It's going to be triggering. It's going to be a lot. And I just want to do whatever God told me to do. I'm going to tell you my story. I was avoiding that for a long time, and anytime I was opening my phone, there was a video talking to me about obedience, that if you don't do what God tells you to do, you're going to be at the same place next year. Talking to me about execution, talking to me about honoring your word, like whenever God tells you to do something, do it. When God told me to make this video, he told me, if this video touch even one person or saves one person, there will be joy in heaven, that I will win it all with him. I am so sorry. I am emotional. I haven't even started. I'm already crying. So we're gonna go straight to the stories. In the first story, I'm just gonna mention people by their initial because I don't want to mention names. So in the first story, B and I at the time, I think we were like freshly new. I don't even know if we were like going out together already. I don't know, but it was like in between. But we were like good friends, and we met friends, and I didn't know them like that. I think B was around them once or twice. I think it was the second time that I met them. So they invited us to a chill, those kind of chill or those kind of little parties. We drink, we smoke, we play games, and those games, if you lose, you drink. And at the time, I was a blackout drinker. Sometimes when you're under the influence, you give yourself excuses that, yeah, I'm a person, like, I'm good. When I drink, I'm good. Or I didn't plan on drinking till this point. But the truth is, when you step away a little bit and you reflect back on those situations, you know that you were pretty much drinking to arrive to this situation. You were pretty much smoking for the outcome to be this high, like forgetting about your issues. We always like to say, yeah, I'm good. But no, you're not good. So at the time, I'm good. You know, we had to chill. Among those people, there are only men. There were two girls. So me and one girl, and that girl was their home girl. So she was pretty much safe. She knew them. But I was kind of like, you know, the new girl and trying to, you know, like integrate the circle and everything. So we were drinking, some of us smoking, you know, partying, dancing, singing. And at one point, guys, the police came. I should have known back then that it was a sign from God that, hey, y'all, cut it out. But no. Soon as they were gone, we fooled them around, started drinking again. Party goes on. So we were drinking and we were playing those games where you drink if you lose. So the guy who organized the party, G. So G was telling the girl, he was like, yo, I think you should, like, you know, kind of like take care of her because she's wasted. So the girl was like, you know, I'm tipsy too. I'm kind of like, you know, whatever. So, and I don't really know her like that. I mean, she gonna carry herself. Guys, I was wasting myself that night. I drank so much in the house of a bunch of strangers. Back then, I mean, they were strangers. Now they're family. But back then, they were still strangers to me. And I black out in that house full of men. And I was the new girl. I blacked out and they put me on the bed. And guys, I threw up on the bed, threw up on myself, messed up the whole place. Like, I threw up everywhere, guys. And as I said back then, B and I were like freshly new. So he could have been like any other man and said, she's a whole red flag. What? That's her right there. Nah. I'm not dealing with that. And just go home, He could have just left me there. He could have, not taken care of me. But I believe that that day God used them like powerfully. And so all the men were there and they were like, okay, what do we do? She did all of this. What are we going to do now? So B tell one of our friend, M, he's like, hey, help me carry her to the bathroom. So they both carry me to the bathroom. And I had a flashback of me being carried. Somebody was holding my feet and somebody was holding my hand, right? So I was carried like a bag of potatoes. We get to the bathroom, so M is like, okay, what do we do? So he tells M, step out of the bathroom and ask G to send new clothes. So they send him new clothes. He locks the door. He changed me. He cleans me up and put me to bed and guard me the whole night like a bodyguard. They cleaned the whole place and everything. In the morning, I woke up, guys, and I was in new clothes. I was like, oh my God, what happened? Jesus Christ. I woke up next to B. G was like sitting on a little chair. And I was like, oh my God, what happened? And he looked at me and he said, you can't be drinking like that in the house full of strangers. And I was like, oh yeah, but we were playing games and I was drinking. He's like, despite the games, something's up. You can't be drinking like that in the house full of strangers. And he was telling me, what if we were bad people? What if, B, y'all are freshly new. You're giving him the runaround. But what if that night he had bad intentions and he was just like, shoot, I'm going to get what I want? Like, what if something would have happened to you? He was like, you can't be drinking like that. You blacked out and you made a whole mess. He was like, bruh, that was wild. And I'm telling y'all, he was right. That was wild. Wild. And back then, I didn't really care like that. And all of that was really triggered from a place of brokenness. When you're already broken, you just need one event to trigger that brokenness and all hell break loose. So I had every excuses that I wanted to give to myself to drink. One trigger, I'm drinking. One issue, I'm just drinking, which leads me to my second story time, which is the drunk driver. So back then, B and I now, we're fully dating. Boyfriend, girlfriend, we have an argument. A whole argument, guys. So I don't know how I got that bottle. But one thing for sure, I had that bottle. And it was in my car. I don't remember if I purchased it or if I took it from my house. I don't know. But I had the bottle. So took my car, started drinking, guys, and I'm driving. I'm drinking and I'm driving. Worst part is that I am filming myself on Snapchat while I'm doing that. Lord, that's your mercy, that's your grace. So B's big sister, she tells B, she's like, do you know where's your woman? And he's like, oh yeah, we had a little argument, but she went home. And she's like, she is drinking and driving and she's filming herself. So B's like, what? No way. So he gets his sister's phone and he sees me on the video and he saw the street where I was because he'd been trying to call me. Obviously, I'm upset, so I'm not picking up the phone. He sees the street where I'm at and he called the same friend that, carried me to the bathroom like a bag of potato. Yeah, he calls M and he's like, M, if you have to take a cab, or I don't know what you have to do, but pull up on that street in that parking lot and tell her to come there. M is like, what's going on? So he's explaining to M that we had a little argument. I'm upset and I'm not picking up the calls. So he's like, she won't doubt you. She won't, she won't get suspicious. So, call her. So M calls me. He's like, yo, what's up? Like, what you doing? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just here. I'm just out here. He's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. He's like, no, you're not okay. I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. And he's like, pull up, pull up, pull up. I'm in this parking lot. And I'm like, where? How do you know where I'm at? He's like, well, I know where you at. I'm in that parking lot. I can see you. I'm like, there is no way you can see me from afar. Like, that parking lot is, it was so far away, and I wasn't even at the traffic light. So there was no way he could see me. So I'm like, He's like, I see you, I see you, I see you. So I got curious because I'm like, how can somebody see me like miles away from where I'm at? I'm like, you can't see that. I can see you. Pull up in that parking lot. Come, I'm there. I have something for you. Come, girl. So I'm driving there and I pull up in the parking lot. He opens the car door, snatched the keys, put me on the passenger seat, and drove me home. And back then, he was going out like with one of my friends. And so he told my friend, hey, go at her apartment. I'm dropping her off over there, stay with her the whole night, blah, 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 blah. So be organized, everything. So he drove me home. I arrived there. And my friend, she is shocked. Like, her face looked like she had a bunch of questions because, mind you, we grew up together. We've known each other ever since like we were like 6 or 7 years old. So she's confused. She's like, what? I mean, that's not my sister. I don't recognize this girl. Like, what's happening? She had so many questions. I mean, I knew she had so many questions. Anyways, fast forward in the morning, I woke up, guys. And you know what's even crazy? Is that when I was drinking, driving, my lights were not on. And back then, I was so broken. I didn't even care. But recently, when God told me to talk about these stories, I reflected back on those events. And I was like, wow, God. Because back then, I was so broken. I was even suicidal. So even my own life, I didn't care. But when I reflected on it and I realized that I could have killed a father, a mother, snatched them from their families, snatched them from their kids, growing up without a parent because of a drunk driver. I could have had a DUI. Even if, let's say, I'm drinking, I'm driving, and I kill somebody on the road, and at the time I don't care, like in the morning, I would have woken up with regrets. And, regret is what made Judah kill himself. Regret is not a fun thing to live with. When I thought about it, when God made me reflect on all those situations, I was like, Jesus. I was so reckless, guys. Like, I had so many other stories that I can tell you, and stories that are way worse than this one. Like, stories that I tell myself, I wanna die with them. If you weren't a witness, that's fine. I'm not gonna tell you ever. But I think that God made me reflect on those stories to see how much He was good, how much He was great. If I was still waking up, it's because not only He was giving me a chance because He loved me, but because He believed in me. He believed that I was going to stop. He believed that I was going to get out of that addiction. He believed that I was going to be somebody when I didn't even think that I was useful on this earth. He believed that. He knew that this moment, me being on camera telling you guys, He knew that this moment was gonna happen. And he knew. And you know, when you're under the influence, sometimes you don't care. First day, you don't care. Second day, you don't care. A month, a week, you don't care. But surely, I'm telling you, one day, you're gonna care. You're gonna care. You're gonna tell yourself, and you know, if you're listening to me and you're telling yourself, oh, me, I'm too far gone. I thought out about myself too. I thought about the fact that I was too far gone. My sister was calling me. I mean, she didn't know a lot of, you know, these crazy stories, but she kept on telling me, you need to stop drinking. You need to stop drinking, Grace. You need to leave that habit alone. You need to leave it alone. And she was like, God is going to make you sick if you don't stop. I felt ill sometimes after, but after that, picked up a bottle again. I could not stop. Like I was a train wreck. I could not stop. But God did it, guys. God did it. And let me tell you how God did it. I never given up on my relationship with God. Sometimes people think that deliverance is fasting and praying. Sometimes people think that deliverance is exorcism, you know, praying for the demons to come out. Yes. But most of all, the true deliverance, your salvation, comes from your relationship with God. Because I have never given up on God. Although I was drinking, I was not myself. I didn't feel qualified going in front of him. I was still going in front of his throne and telling him, Lord, I am not perfect. And I want you to change me. I want you to change me. Every time. And the Lord started laying out opportunities for me to stop. He started laying out foundations for me to stop. He started laying out the path for me to stop. Giving me accountability partners. Giving me ways to distance myself from some people. Even when sometimes I didn't want to distance myself from an environment, God would create problems. So I would stop doing what I'm doing. Like literally, if that is your desire, continue to pray. Don't give up on your relationship with God. Don't tell yourself that you're dirty, you're too far gone. God can still help you. Tell him. And I'm telling you, even when you're going to say, I'm going to be in this environment, God is going to create confusion. He's going to create something just to take you out of there. You know this Bible verse that says, the righteous falls 7 times, but the Lord will always deliver him?
So let me correct that part right here. The verse actually says, the righteous shall fall 7 times, but he shall rise again. So I just wanted to correct that part.
Listen, I think that when the Bible says 7 times, the Bible meant that the righteous will fall a lot of times. A lot of times. Those 7 times were meant for a lot of times. But the Lord will always come through. Always, I'm telling you guys. God will lay out the path for you. And if you're watching me right now, I want to tell you that God believes in you. He knows that you can stop. God believes in you. He knows that he can change you. You are still here because he knows who you're gonna be. Just surrender to him. Just yield yourself to him. It don't matter how dirty you are. I don't care about your sin. Yield yourself to him. It is not too late because you're still on this earth with me. And your first step is that you're watching this video and you're probably acknowledging that you have a problem, you have an addiction, and you're figuring out your way out of this, you're not alone. God is there. If you don't know how to pray, you're like, oh my God, these Christian stuff. Like, I need to make those big prayers. Let me give you a first step. Go in your room, kneel down and say, God, thank you for listening to me. Here I am again. I know, asking you for forgiveness. I broke your heart 100 times, but here I am again. And Lord, I'm going to hold on to you until you deliver me. I am so sorry. Wash me clean. I know that you believe in me even when nobody believes in me and I don't believe in myself. Please help me. Please help me. Make this simple prayer. Go on, talk to him like that was your friend in front of you, you know? I remember somebody in my family told me, the way you're praying like God is like your friend. Y'all are at the same level. I said, I don't think that we're at the same level. But I do know one thing. He's my friend, for sure. He's my friend. And that's how I talk to him. And he has always worked. I mean, try it. I mean, I'm telling you, give it a try. And tell me, like, come back to me. I dare you to come back to me after a month and tell me if God has not shown up for you. If today you don't care and you tell yourself, yeah, that is not me, I would never go to that extent. When you are on this path, struggling with what you think is not addiction, or if you are already at the stage where you acknowledge that it's an addiction, where you are on that path, you're opening the window to the devil. And when he comes in, he helps you open the gate. And he attacks the most precious thing in your life, which is your future, your procreation, the generation to come, your kids. I'm telling you, today, like, my mom, since she doesn't really understand English, so I was telling her that I'm going to make this video. So she wanted to hear about, like, the testimonies, and I told her about the testimonies. And I'm telling you, she was like, what? Her mind was blown away. She couldn't understand what was happening. Every word that I was saying from my mouth, she was trying to process them, but they weren't processing well. But I'm probably sure that she told herself, God, how is this possible? We are praying for our kids constantly. We are ministers. And yet this girl, she did all of this under your supervision. How so? You know? But God, he knows the plans that he has for you from the foundation of time. So he knew that this thing right there was going to build me. He knew. So you probably don't care now, but your generation is probably being under attack. You probably don't care now, but God is trying to save you, because probably death is knocking at the door. You probably don't care now, but you might find yourself in a situation where you might have the deepest regret of your life. I don't know what might happen to you. I don't know why I'm doing this video. I don't know why God even sent me to do this video. When he told me to do this video, I said, God, I'm sure you're not talking to me. I started to act like Jonah, but he kept on insisting that if this video saves somebody, if this video touches one person, there will be joy in heaven, and I would win it all with him. God delivers. God saves. He can deliver you from alcohol, from drugs, from pornography, from gluttony, from anything that you're struggling with, from bad habits. He can deliver you from anything. I mean, God has no limit, guys. Give it a try. Be in his presence. Talk to him. God will do it for you. If he did it for me, he'll do it for you. I hope this video has helped you guys. Thank you for watching me, and I'll see you guys next time.